Hello, welcome to Kim's Cozy Corner. It is a brisk, windy March day, but y'all, it's 70 degrees. So I figured let's get outside and let's see what's going on at Kim's Cozy Corner. Between weather, travel, and illness, I haven't had a chance to really do a lot of videos. And I'm going to take advantage of this nice, warm, sunny day. Y'all, the sun is on my face to get outside and let's see what's going on out here and start planning for this outdoor season. Now, I was supposed to start outside last weekend, but y'all, I was sick. I didn't get it done. So since I didn't get it done, now I got to wait till the next available moment to do it. So that's okay though. So we are outside and we're going to just see what's going on. We've had some really, really bad wind storms. Oh, wow. I didn't know this many branches were down over the last couple of days. And there's a pretty bad storm coming through tonight. So I just wanted to kind of get the lay of the land and see what all is going on down here. But y'all, I have some serious limbs down. Let me show you. And the wind is still blowing pretty heavy here. But I got limbs down right here. All right in here, there are limbs. Y'all, this is the front yard. Limbs are down everywhere. Like, we've gotten a lot of rain and we were worried about this weather coming in. And because with the amount of wind coming in, we were worried about trees being uprooted as well as power lines down. Now, I've been very fortunate. I didn't have any of those issues, but there are quite a few people in the area that didn't fare as well as I did. But y'all, these are some pretty big limbs down here. Pretty big. I'm gonna have to eventually get these trees in the front taken care of as well. So I just wanted to see how many limbs were down. And y'all, guess what? Even though it's a beautiful day, I'm not picking them up today. I am just going to enjoy the weather instead and walk around and think about what this year is going to be like. Last year, I placed this GreenStalk right here and I put just flowers in it. And it did really, really well. I had petunias in it. And like I said, it did really well. This year, y'all, we are going to put impatiens in there. And I think that's going to really fill it out. Nice, big, full pockets. And then in this bed right here, we're probably going to put coleus in there. And y'all, we're growing all that stuff inside. All of it's growing inside. Right now, we started it all from seeds. Each one of these teeny little pots like this one here, all of these little pots all the way around will have coleus in those. This side of my house right here, this part of my house gets very little sun. And so coleus seems to be the only thing that works over in this space. And that goes all the way to the front door here. So the sun just doesn't hit this space. And coleus have always done really well for me. So that's what's going to go back here. Now, if I was really on my game, y'all, I would be cleaning this up right now, preparing these pots for this coleus to go in, but nope. Again, just one more thing that I'm not going to get into today. Ooh, y'all, the peach trees, they're waking up. Hi, peach tree. Glad to see you this year. I hope these blooms make it and there's not too much cold weather coming. Ooh, I actually see a leaf. Look at that. This peach tree right here has given me peaches for the last 2 years. Some really nice peaches. Now, last year, I didn't get as many as I did the year before. Woo! The wind's gonna blow me away, y'all. Woo! Some pretty strong winds. Last year, we had a really late frost that came after all of my trees bloomed. And, you know, so some of them didn't ever get germinated or they died with the frost, that kind of stuff. But this year is looking good. The next one over is looking pretty good as well. That one there. I got a few peaches off of it last year, but it hasn't been a heavy producer. But off of these two trees, y'all, I have gotten a couple, I don't know, 15 pounds, 12 pounds. I don't know. I will look it up so you'll know exactly how many peaches I got last year, and all of them were off of this tree. And then the year before, it was off of this tree and that one there for the most part. Yeah, over here, y'all, we're gonna make some changes as well. I got that GreenStalk right there. And then we're gonna move this Vego rolling tomato planter off of this patio paver right here. And I'm gonna put a second GreenStalk right here. So we're gonna have two GreenStalks, kind of creating a hedge type effect as you walk down the driveway, or should I say sidewalk right here. So it'll be two GreenStalks here. One's gonna be full of like herbs and lettuce, you know, while it's willing to grow for me. And then the other one will probably have collard greens and kale and things like that in it. And actually, y'all, that's what I actually planned on doing last weekend, but y'all, sickness took me out. But we will get to it in the next week or so. We still have time. We're not late. We're right on time. But I just didn't feel like it, and now I don't have time. Y'all, if this wind keeps up like this, we're gonna have some horrible, horrible weather tonight. I mean, these winds are probably blowing 40 miles an hour or more. So this GreenStalk right here, this is a leaf planter. So it usually, tried to take my hat. I usually put leafy greens in here. And so this will be my turnip green, collard green, kale type plant GreenStalk that we'll be moving over there with the other one. In this bed right here, we're gonna put some cool season crops. I haven't 100% decided which ones, but these are some of the ones that I brought outside and I've been hardening them off, but they need to come out of those containers, y'all. They need their final home. You can see here, I got them all lined up. They're all hardened off. They're just waiting to be put into a pocket. And I'm going to oblige them sometime in the next week or so, depending on schedule and weather. So y'all, I haven't done anything back here, Lord. The trash can done turned over. It was empty. The wind said, you can't stay here, and it turned it over. But anyway, I haven't done anything out here since the last time we talked. I have GreenStalks over here sitting ready to be put back together. With all that wind, I hope I didn't lose any pieces, because those little gray discs, they're really light. They'll fly away. So hopefully I didn't lose any of those. I haven't finished cleaning up these beds here. They need soil. Now y'all, it's windy. It's very, very windy, but it's not wet. With all the rain we had and all of this wind we're having, I think that's a good thing, because it's kind of helped dry the garden up a little bit. Because a week ago, y'all, I was swimming. This was a lake back here. Just wanted to come around to the front to show you that I got to finish setting up all of my fire rings. I have 3 in all of the fire rings. So there's one here. I got one right there, and one way over, way back there over in the orchard. Fire rings this year are all going to have flowers. That's it. I'm going to get very strategic with my flowers. So flowers over here to help with these apple trees that I still haven't had any fruit on. And y'all, they're not waking up yet either. But they're growing, they're happy. I have 3, okay, I can see them waking up now. But 3 apple trees right here, and they're called reachables or shareables, reachables. So they stay short, so you can reach them. They don't get massive, 15-foot tall trees. They stay short, like 8 feet or something like that. You keep them trimmed back and they'll be productive, but they haven't been very productive for me yet. But for your apple trees, you need a pollinator. You need one of them little buzzy bees to fly around from tree to tree to pollinate. And the same tree can't pollinate itself. So once you understand which trees will pollinate other trees, those are the ones that you should put in place if you're going to grow apples on your property. And so each and every one of my apple trees is a different variety. So of these 3 apple trees right here, they will pollinate each other. So if the little bees are happy and they're over here playing with some flowers, maybe they'll jump on up and play with those apple trees as well. Y'all, this was my massive sage right here from last year. And it'll come back this year. I'll cut it back and we'll let it start over again. But that's sage. I bet you it still smells good. Smells like sage, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Smells good.
I can't smell it.
You can't smell it? It's because you got that cold. This one, we'll cut it back and it'll come back again. So this is why I don't need sage. When you got a plant this healthy, 1 plant's more than enough for a family my size. I also have green onion, bunching onion, spring onion, something like that growing. No, that's chives. That's chives. I started these chives in a GreenStalk 100 years ago, moved it from the GreenStalk into this space here, and this will be the 2nd or 3rd year that these chives have come back. And then right here is hard to see, but this right here is thyme, and it should come back as well. So moving on around, let's look at some other things. We will be putting green stalks on each one of these pavers here. So I got 3 places for green stalks. Those are the ones that you see over there that need to be put back together. And then where that trash can decided to rest from the wind, there will be a green stalk over there as well. I got all the beds laid out and I have so much more room this year than I've ever had. I was telling everybody how this grapevine is going to come out and we're going to move it to a different spot. But you can see that hadn't happened yet. Not yet, but it will happen. It just hasn't happened yet. And then I do have some of my strawberries waking up. See right here? Strawberries are perennials. They come back every year. And the strawberries that are right here, now there used to be, all my fire rings used to be right here. All 3 of them were in front right here. And when I took them out, I left some of the strawberries in there and you see they're coming back. They're very happy and they're going to come back into space. But by the time I take out that grape vine, and there's 3 of them, 1, 2, and 3, we're going to take those out. And y'all, let me be completely honest. I've been getting grapes on these grapevines now for the last 2 seasons. But y'all, it's not enough to sustain my family. So I'm not going to get like a big enough supply where I don't have to invest in grapes somewhere else. So we're going to get it out of this prime property and put something else in this space. And to be honest, I believe I want to put peppers or something like that in this space. Not 100% sure, but that's what I'm thinking at the moment. I got trellising up pretty much all throughout the garden, everywhere, except on this bed right here. So y'all, see what happened was, yep, I'm starting with what happened was. When I put this bed in place last year, when I was redesigning this whole space, I put this bed on top of weed barrier that was on top of gravel, that was on top of more weed barrier, that was on top of wooden planks. So way underneath all of this, y'all, there are wooden planks, and I couldn't get my T-post in underneath, and I wasn't going through the trouble of trying to drill it out. So this bed will not have T-post and cattle pedal trellising on it. I'm thinking this bed is where I could put my corn and try to give it some protection from those raccoons that still like to visit every night. Now they're visiting, but they're not coming all the way into the garden because I have sonic sounds and hawks and all kinds of other noises and lights and everything else that goes off anytime they get close to the garden and they decide to go a different way. So hopefully they are still, kind of afraid of those sounds and those lights and everything so that they don't get into the garden once I do start producing food in here again this season. So like I said, I'm thinking corn in here and maybe some type of shelling pea growing up the corn, so I can have a two-sister in this space here, because I do plan on growing tons and tons of shelling peas this year, and some new varieties as well. So that'll be kind of fun to do. But on the rest of these cattle pedal trellising, so that one right there, I grow melons on that one. And then on all of the rest of these, y'all, it'll probably be some type of tomato plant or something of that nature, because that's what I've always grown in this space here, tomato plants. But we'll be able to have like tomato plants on the trellis. And then in front of that, I'll still be able to put another row of something else. So this bed is 2 feet wide. And if you think about the square foot garden method, I can get 2, if you want to call it rows, woo, and a plant about every foot along this bed. So however long this bed is, times 2, that's how many plants I should mostly be able to get. And then in this last bed right here, y'all, it's already set. It's already set for the season. I started this bed in February. That's like a month early, a month and a half early, or should I say earlier than I'm usually starting outdoors. This is a greenhouse cover on the bed. And so when it was super cold and snowy and 20 degrees, I just closed the cover here and it kept it nice and toasty inside this bed. But I've been watering it. And so everything that you see in here that's dead, that's from last year. I just left it in place so it can compost in place. And then I have out here, I have cauliflower, cabbage, and broccoli growing. And it looks okay. It's slow to grow because of this crazy weather, but it does look okay. And then in the very front, I planted some onion, and they're not growing very fast, but they're not dead yet either. So I'm going to take that as a win. This Vego garden bed with the greenhouse cover has allowed me to get a quicker jump on my garden for this year. And y'all, it's looking good. It's looking really good. I'm not usually planting this kind of stuff out until the end of March. And I put this stuff out in February. Let me see this area right here, y'all. This is where I'm thinking about putting that grapevine. What you think? Give me your opinion. Should I move that grapevine to in front of this window here of this she shed and just let it go wherever it wants to go? I don't have to worry about it blocking anything, because the only thing that's going to be behind this is the shed. So we don't have to worry about it shading out other plants. Where it currently is, this would get so big and massive that it was blocking anything that I had in this space here. So I lost a lot of prime real estate right here because those grapes got so massive. And so my green stalks that were way back here didn't do as well as they normally do. So removing that grapevine, keeping plants pretty short in that space, is going to help the green stalks that we're going to have scattered throughout here. Y'all, I didn't clean off my trellis right here. I grow beans on this trellis. And y'all, this year, on this trellis this year, I'm going to grow my normal pole beans like I always do. But instead of green pole beans, y'all, I found several varieties of yellow wax beans. And y'all, I'm starting to really, really love yellow wax beans. So I'm thinking yellow wax beans on this instead, so I can get a massive supply just of yellow wax beans. Yeah, I'm gonna have some bush green beans growing in different places, like I always do. I grow the provider because the provider always provide, right? But the yellow wax beans, I get enough. Don't get me wrong, I get enough for a meal, but I don't get enough to just can just yellow wax beans by themselves. And I want a bigger supply of yellow wax beans for canning. Oh, yes, y'all. I don't know if you remember this area here. Oh, Lord, it done fell apart. That wind has been so massive, it spun it right off its hinges. And that's nothing against the product, y'all. It's been some bad, and I do mean really bad winds over here. I'm looking at a huge tree limb down over at the neighbors right now. Right here in the front, in this bed right here, I transplanted Brussels sprouts from another area. And I was harvesting Brussels sprouts in January, y'all. We had Brussels sprouts eating in January. Zone 6B, Southwest Ohio. I need to finish cleaning out all my pots, all of that kind of stuff. Boy, that wind is spinning so, I mean, that wind spinner is spinning so fast. You can't see it, but that thing is really, really going. And the other one is down here on the ground. I got to find the pieces for it. I'll worry about it later. But that wind spinner over there is amazing. And it's never falling apart. I mean, that wind is kicking though. And it's spinning. So I have strawberries in all three of these green stalks right here. And I've done nothing. I didn't water. I didn't fertilize. I did absolutely nothing. And if you do nothing, you might get nothing, but I don't know. Woo! Y'all, this is another good sign about GreenStalk. When I tell you I have gale force winds right now blowing my GreenStalks, I'm really not joking. And none of them are turning over, and they're dry, so they don't even have the weight of a fully watered in GreenStalk. The ground or the water in these are probably super dry, so they're probably super light. The only issue that I've had with all of these really bad wind gusts is that the tops flew off, so I just put the tops up. That one's still on over there, but this one and the one behind me here, the tops flew off, so we put those up. But now, let's see if I see any signs that these strawberries are coming back. Now, they looking pretty dead this year. And we've had the coldest winter I can recall in the 20 years I've lived in Ohio. I might have lost them all. I'll find out more in the next month or so, but I can always buy more, or I can transplant them from some of the other beds, like the one I was telling you in front of the grapes. I got some growing there as well, so I can transplant some, or I could buy a few more. Moving over into the peach tree that is in this wine barrel here, I was worried about this tree not making it through the winter because, y'all, I wasn't coming out here when the regular temperature was in the negatives and the wind chill put it at like -20, -30. I wasn't coming out here. But I remembered that the bottom of this thing is out. When I relocated this tree from over by the apple trees that are way over there, this tree had broken through the bottom and the root was all the way out of the bottom of this. So this tree is actually rooted into the ground, not the wine barrel. It's actually in the ground. And there are strawberries in there because I did have strawberries around it. Some of those strawberries are in there. We need to add more soil up here because this is a grafted tree. So right down here at the bottom of the tree is the root stock. And then this right here is what we're actually growing. The root stock is a different kind of tree. So I don't want to cover up where the graft was, but I do want to make sure I got full coverage around the bottom of this because the ground has, the soil has sunk, and we do need to add a little more soil. That tree's dead, but the replacement is in the house and we'll get that in there. That needs soil as well. This is that third fire ring that I didn't even put soil in it. I quit. I said, I'm done, and I quit. But we're gonna get more cardboard in there, more soil. We'll get it set up to accept those flowers. Last year on this tree, y'all, I mean, it hadn't even been in the ground a year. And I actually enjoyed 3, what are they called again? I forgot. Pink ladies. I enjoyed 3 pink ladies off of this tree last year. Even though it's just a little bitty tree. But y'all, it's trying to wake up as well. There are little blooms on here. Let's see if this one's alive. Are you living? Yep, you're trying to wake up as well. Come on, wake up. The alarm's going off. It's time to wake up and get up. Oh yeah, and then this tree decided to bloom at the end of the season and try to grow apples in like November, December. Maybe I'll get 1 or 2 on this tree this upcoming season. Not really expecting it, but if I get it, great. And then y'all, I just put this one in the ground last year. So this is a cherry tree. And this little one over here is a cherry tree. And they're called the Romeo and Juliet cherry trees. They stay fairly small, kind of dwarf in stature. This is the Juliet. At least I think this one is. I think Juliet was bigger. Oh, it doesn't say which is which. It just says Juliet and Romeo, but it doesn't say which is which. But they came together in one container. I separated them and replanted them. This one immediately took off, and you can see it's waking up. It is super happy. And I made sure I put it in a spot that wasn't going to get shaded out by the other trees. Now, y'all, if you haven't figured it out, I call this little area my orchard area because I have peach trees, I have apple trees, I have blueberry bushes right here, and I grow cantaloupes over there. I have strawberries growing right here. And so it's just a variety of different types of fruit. I think I grew watermelon in addition to cantaloupe and honeydew over here last year. But this right here, this blueberry peach sorbet is waking up. Look at that. And I did enjoy blueberries on there last year. So we will have a pink lemonade there, and then a blueberry peach sorbet here and here. Now this one's waking up, but is not as far along as the one right there. Have more strawberries growing right here. So y'all, this is the little orchard. This is the little orchard. This one's waking up. Y'all, I thought I had lost this one, honestly, but it looks like it's surviving and it's going to get some blooms on it. It never had blooms yesterday or last year. And I did have a peach tree right there that it just didn't make it through the first winter. It was replaced. And when we replaced it, I used my credit to put in the cherry trees instead. Now this one was put in 2 winters ago and it's starting to wake up. I was worried about it because I didn't think it was going to wake up. And look at this. These are going to be blooms. You see that? You see that, Alicia?
Yes.
Those are going to be blooms up there.
What?
So maybe this tree is going to go on and do what it needs to do this
What
year.
is this?
This is a peach tree. Now we do have a problem. It's not really a big problem, but at the base of this peach tree, you see this right here? These are not part of the peach tree. These are from the rootstock that this peach tree has been grafted onto. It's kind of hard to show, but it's growing below the knot. That's how I like to explain it. So right here is where the graft is, and all of these things are growing from below it. And so that's from the rootstock, not from the peach tree. So we will need to cut that back eventually. That's a strawberry plant down there that's gotten away from the main source, but I can pluck that out and stick that into these green stalks. And y'all, last year I had petunias growing on this. Y'all, I have some jalapeno peppers as well as my cherry fall tomatoes. Y'all, I'm thinking about putting cherry fall tomatoes in there, and they're tomatoes that hang like a hanging basket. They're cherry style tomatoes. I have some growing in the house right now. I believe I want to put some in this space right here. All 3 of these green stalks don't really supposed to be sitting right here. One of them supposed to be right here because I'm intentionally placing them. I want to make sure they're not shaded out by these apple trees when they start to really grow. We will be moving one of the green stalks here. And I do like green stalks back in this space here because this area is slightly shaded late in the evening, so I can keep cooler season crops growing in this space here. I can grow carrots and I can grow lettuce. I grow tomatoes, I grow flowers, I grow all kinds of stuff in here. Cucumbers and just all kinds of stuff. I can keep my tomato or my lettuce growing longer because I get some protection back here. But this one will move here. That'll give me the spacing that I need in between these 3 green stalks. You see, I didn't even pick up the paper. That paper don't belong over here, y'all. For those new to my channel or for those of you who may not have known, I manage this garden over here as well. This is my neighbor's garden, but I plant this one as well. I have 2 green stalks over here that I fill up every year with all kinds of goodies. We've put in some metal raised beds as these beds have been giving up on us and wearing out. We've been replacing them with metal raised beds, but I will fill each and every one of these beds up over here for them. I got trellising back there for them as well. So everything they need from a grocery standpoint when it comes to their vegetables will be right here. And they will enjoy all of that fresh produce all season long. And if there's anything extra, that goes to my house. But I start the seeds for them. I plant it out. All they have to do is water it and enjoy the fruits of my labors and their labors of keeping it well watered. So I think we've talked about everything going on over here at Kim's Cozy Corner on this mid-March windy day as we start preparing for the storm that's headed this way tonight. We can at least see the condition that we're in right now. So hey y'all, this is what we're doing. If you want to join me as we're setting up these gardens, learning along the way, consider subscribing to the channel and turning on notifications and telling everybody, friends and family alike, all about Kim's Cozy Corner. So until next time, and I hope there'll be a next time that you choose to hang out with me. Talk to you again real soon. Bye.